Good morning. Glad you guys are here. Quick question before we get started. Group participation, it's going to be loud. We're going to get after it just a little bit. But I do want to know, it's going to help my wife and I decide something here in a few hours. Where is your favorite, or I guess grammar would be what? What's your favorite fast food restaurant? Okay, when I say go, just yell it. Just literally yell it, okay? You got it? Ready? Go. Okay, I heard none of that. I'm sorry. Anyone over here say one? You got one? Anybody? What'd you say? Sam's Club. That's the guy on our finance team. That's who you want on there. How about over here? Anybody got one? Chick-fil-A. Oh, of course. Now everybody's thinking about Chick-fil-A, and it's Sunday, and they can't eat it. Yeah, you're ruining it. Okay. Now it's going to turn into hootenanny. We're stopping, okay? It's like, I say burger. Anyways, so kind of embarrassing to share, but last November, I'm eating with one of the guys here, another guy, some friends of mine. We're on Tuesday night. We go out and eat. We're in Ashland. We're leaving, and I'm heading home. And a little fact you guys may not know about me, and it might explain why I'm built the way I am. Every year when, like, the seasonal pies come out at McDonald's, I get a quota in my head of how many I have to eat before it runs out. And the November one is the pumpkin cream pie. I love pumpkin pie anyways, so I'm going nuts, loving it. So I've ate a ton. I'm full, and I'm driving home. I'm like, man, if I just stop by Ironton McDonald's real quick and get a pie, maybe 2 pies. So I get in line, and I'm not, this is not an exaggerated story. No, this happened exactly what I'm saying. I'm about 20 minutes in line, and I've moved 1 car. Well, at that point, I'm like, I'm so deep in, like I really can't be a quitter. My dad didn't raise a quitter, so I'm going to do this, so I stay in line. About 30 minutes in, my wife texts me, and it's just one message. She said, "Are you okay? Because it looks like you've been at McDonald's, stuck at McDonald's for the last 32 minutes. She's timing it. And that's where you got to do like kind of the shame. I'm like, well, I wanted a pie after I was eating, and it's just pumpkin pies, and I've only had 8. My quota's 16 this year. And so I literally send back, like, I'm waiting in line for 2 pumpkin pies. She doesn't respond. It was like, she's so ashamed of me. It wasn't even one of those like, oh, I get it. It's like, ugh. So then I'm pulling the whole, like when you get with your spouse and they're mad, you're like, hey, you start saying random stuff. What do you think the kids are doing tonight at school? Whatever. She's not responding. So I feel bad. I wait another 15 minutes. I'm 45 in. We barely start moving. I'm like, this thing's rolling now. So I place my order about another 10 minutes. I mean, I am not kidding, guys. It's at least 45 to 50 minutes total. And I get there, grab my bag, and I'm ready. I'm like, I got to get home. I'm ashamed. Everybody's ashamed of me. I just grab my bag, and I take off. And I take like a little drive, and I'm like, I've waited this long. I'm hungry now. So I pull over to the side, open up the bag, 1 pie. Order 2. Yeah, that happened. So anyways, the reason I'm telling you guys that is you're like, what's that have to do with anything? Today, as we're kicking off this series, Want to Get Away, we're going to talk about the way of life. And I was thinking, isn't that kind of life, though, honestly? Think about this. In a way, think of all the variables here. It's like, we think something's going to be so easy. The people I watch in my life make it look easy. Parenting seems like they make it easy, and work and all these different things people do. It looks easy, but it's not easy. Man, I thought ordering 2 pies was going to be easy. Then you think a little bit later, I'm like, but this will at least happen quick. I had a time frame. It's called fast food. Fast is in the word, fast food. It should be fast. And then I'm like, now it's wasted way more time than I wanted. Stuff I need to do, I didn't get done. And then there's the shame of literally people around you like, you did that? And all this happened to get to the end. And the one thing I wanted, I didn't get. So then I was disappointed. If you guys think about our lives, in a lot of ways, it's kind of similar, right? Like we have a plan, we have a time frame. Other people I've seen do it. I know there's other working moms, and they have 4 kids, and they always look perfect. Your kids come out for school in the morning, it's like, he has not brushed his teeth or combed his hair, right? I mean, you're like, how do they do that? You watch couples, and you're like, they seem to get along so well. And we don't like each other. We don't even, and it's like, why is it so easy for others, but it's not easy for us? So as we kick off this series and for the whole 4 weeks, I want to give you a thought. I'm going to ask you a serious question, and I mean this. What do you really want? Not the church answer, world peace, just to get closer to God. Okay, those are awesome. I'm not mocking any of that. But it's like, what do you really want? And you don't have to say that out loud, but in life, because it fascinates me that people can live their whole lives And it's like, where are you going on vacation this week? Well, we're actually going to Myrtle Beach. We already got our place. It's going to be 682. Like, you know all the details of your plans a month from now or 2 months from now. Well, what do you want in life? I don't know. Like, we don't think through probably the biggest thing that we were created to do. So what you think about that as we kind of proceed on? This is what Jesus says in John 17, starting in verse 3. He says, and this is the way to eternal life. Now, if you grew up in a Baptist kind of background, you heard eternal life a lot, and it was always like, get saved, you're going to go to heaven forever. I believe that. I believe this is even alluding to that. I believe he's literally saying, like, life in me, you're going to live forever. You're going to live in something you can't even imagine. But he doesn't say, here's how you get eternal life one day. He's like, this is life right now. To know you, the one or the only true God, and Jesus Christ, the one sent to earth. So it's interesting to me, Jesus says, if you really want to learn about real life, it's not starting with something you want or something you chase. It starts with someone you know. And he's like, until you understand this, you're going to make a mess of so many other things. So how do we make a mess of that? And I'm going to try to go real fast today, but how do we make a mess of life? I believe we follow the pillars, the 3 Ps, the pillars of life that we think will bring us fulfillment and purpose and happiness, and it's kind of how I break down this triangle. I think up, and some of us are wired in different ways. Some of us are probably all 3, but for me, definitely up would be there. It's performance. Like, you got to show up, you got to grind, you got to prove your worth, you got to prove to people daily that you're worthy to be in that room or with that group. You got to prove. I feel sometimes up here, I walk away, and if I'm just being honest with you guys, I'm like, oh, that sucked so bad. That was so, like, I start talking to myself, like, that was awful. Why did all this stuff? Why? Because if I'm honest deep down, I want to, it's like perform. Be the very best you can be. Dominate. Win. I remember GattiLand talking to me one day. She's in here, and I said something about, I just got to win the day. And she said, what are you winning? I said, I don't know, but I've got to win today. And she said, that's sick. I was like, fair enough. But for some of us here, that's this performance. Well, I want to walk you through real quick a story in pretty much all the Gospels where Jesus gets tempted by the enemy. And I think it's fascinating because let's say I was going to tempt Travis, right? I know Travis pretty well, so I could probably pick some things like, oh, he may struggle with this. I could play in some insecurities I think he has. But think about trying to tempt Jesus, the perfect Son of God. Like, you better bring your A game. So the enemy comes up, and it's fascinating to me. He only tempts him 3 times in 3 distinct things. The first is this. He takes him to the highest point, or not the highest point, but he takes him to this high place, and he says, jump. Literally with Jesus, he says, I want you to jump. And he gives him a Bible verse. He's like, the Old Testament says that God's chosen one, the Messiah, the angels literally will save you. He's like, you know what God will do. He's your Father. You jump, he'll swoop and save you. Everyone's going to watch this and be like, that's the greatest performance I've ever seen. But here's the thing of them. He says, I think it's fascinating. He says, so you can prove who you are. You see, Jesus was having none of that because he didn't live a life where he's always seeking approval. People, he's like, the Father approves of me. I'm good. Jesus, you don't understand when we left that town, some people are mad at you. I don't love it, but it doesn't define me because I don't live for the approval of people because I already have God's approval. I try to teach this to my kids as they're all grown up, and that is, if you live for someone's approval, then you will die by their rejection. Do you know that? If you want to live for approval of whatever I'm chasing likes, I'm trying to get people. If you live in that world, when people reject you, you will die because it's your life. It's what you're seeking. How can I perform more? It's the performance trap. You got to prove your worth. Now, I'm better at temptation than a lot of you in this room for a lot of reasons. Number one, unlike you, I had a little enemy on my shoulder growing up. His name was Ryan. He was my older brother. Right? And he was always like, hey, let's go rob this liquor store. I'm like, I'm 12. Okay, let's do it, whatever. But I do remember, I was thinking of this story. Jesus takes him to this kind of higher place. And he's like, just jump. I remember when my best friend's growing up, his name was Jeremiah. He had like a horse barn. So we're in this barn one day. I know it's so country, but we're up in his barn. They had a loft up there. We're hanging out. My brother never came up. And for some reason, he's there that day. I don't know why. Probably like the enemy. He's on my shoulder. But he said to me, I bet you could jump off this. It's like the dumbest trick ever. I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's 20 feet down. And he said, no, look, just like 8 feet over here, there's like a ledge. And he was like, if you run as fast as you can on the side and jump off of this, you can make it to the other side. And he said, man, that would be awesome. We'd all think you're cool. Now, what's he doing? He's trying to kill me, right? I'm like 10 or 12. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And he was like, I really do. Like, you're pretty fast. Like, he's building into that. So I'm like, okay. I remember I run and jump. I'm not even close. I mean, it's just like, I'm laying down, I'm like, I think I broke my ankle and my leg. I hate you. And he's like, yeah. That's what I think Jesus was going through. It's like him, Ryan, and Satan, kind of the same. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding. But that's their performance side. But here's the second one, pleasure. This is the end. I want to consume. I need to make myself happy. I'm not happy, and I've got to do stuff. I've got to take stuff. I've got to, whatever it takes, I need to be happy. So I'm going, it's always about me and how do I feel? And not that any of that's wrong, but it's this pleasure side. You know the second thing the enemy did? He said there, he says, you can turn these stones into bread. Now, for all of us here, we're like, wow, that's really hard. But backstory, Jesus has not ate for 40 days. No food, no nothing, just water. And he's like, I know you're hungry. But what's he tempting with? He's like, if you just do this, it'll make you feel better. See, if we're honest, a lot of us in here, we don't say it this way. We want pleasure. We want perpetual pleasure. Now, I know all the guys in here, you can't hear the word pleasure and not think of one thing, can you? Binging Netflix? Yeah, you're all like, are we allowed to say that in church? Yeah, Netflix and chill maybe? Okay, yeah. Anyways, it's like, really, you think of that. But we want pleasure. And some of you are like, that's not me. It might not be. But you're seeking this constant, like, I need something. I got to use this relationship. Well, you know, he's kind of a bum. I know, but I really don't have anyone else asking. And I kind of feel like I'm valuable. And it's this chasing of pleasure, this inside. What feels good now doesn't always lead to what feels good later. You know why couples, even married, you know why, or people, even not married, you know why people flirt? Think about it. Why would someone saying something, why would you even want to flirt? Because it makes me feel alive. It makes me feel happy inside that someone may actually want me. Right? That's what it is. I'm seeking pleasure. I know lazy people. I call them lazy. But they're really not lazy. What they are is they get so stressed when they have to do stuff, they seek comfort because it makes them happy. So they don't do anything. Still just pleasure. Now, I got to confess to you guys. My wife's in here. My daughter, my son's in here. I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm just going to be level with you guys. This last month, my wife had a birthday, March 2nd. Won't say how old she is. We're close to the same age. And so she had a birthday, so there's been posts, and my daughter always posts pictures like, Mom, I love you, standard, you know what everybody does. And then we had our anniversary this past weekend, so we went on a little getaway. So awesome, so nice. 24th year anniversary, right? Could you imagine living with me for 24? Yeah, we'll help her. Anyways, but let me tell you what happened. So in the midst of that, there's been all these pictures and couples pictures. I've just seen stuff. My daughter, last time she was in, she made this comment. She was like, Mom's a baddie. Now, some of you young people laugh. Old people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. Fair enough. So I really didn't get it either. But it turns out, I guess, a baddie is just like you're an attractive person. She's like, man, Mom's, still, even she's getting older, she's very pretty. So she said that, and I was like, yeah, we're both baddies. I did. And my daughter's like, no. Well, it got to me. And I hate to confess this to a pretty large group and watching online, but I'll just be honest. So it's kind of in my head a little bit. So I went and found a picture of us as a couple, like recent, and it's a good picture of me. It's not a great picture of my wife. She's got like a lazy eye. And I was like, I literally looked at my daughter and was like I held the picture up. I'm like, look, we ate. Another cool phrase, right? Yeah, 8 of you get it. Anyways, I said that, and she was like, not we, she. And she wasn't being rude. She's just like, no, you're not. You don't look very nice, right? You're kind of a disgusting old guy. My daughter's honest, and I love that about her. Like, my son wouldn't be that brutally honest. So it got in my head. Guys, I am not making this up. We went on a walk. Like, we're getting ready to take a walk this past week. And in my head, I'm like, she isn't like that much better than me, right? I made up a full-blown lie. I get home, and I'm talking to her. I'm like, so we had a salesman come in to C3 today. One, we never have salesmen here. We're a church, right? But anyway, I said we had a salesman come in. I was like, she was talking. She was, you know how they dress up. They're so like in business suits. I don't know, maybe 30 or something. I said, she kept talking to me, though. And in the middle of that, I was like, I didn't even think about it. But when she left, Aaron and Alicia were like, I think she was flirting with you. I made up a fake woman flirting with me. And because I just want my wife to be like, in her mind, be like, he does still have it. I kid you not, she was like, oh, that's cute. Did not care. Didn't bat an eye. So I doubled down. I'm like, yeah, she was asking me my age, and I said, 45. And she was like, there's no way. You look more my age, 34. This woman doesn't exist. Full story. And my wife's here. She'll verify this whole thing. She still doesn't buy it. She's like, whatever. So I get mad, so I double down again. I won't even say what I said, right? And she's like, fine, I'll text them and see if this lady was really flirting with you. And I'm like, there's no lady. I made up that whole story, right? And I can't explain why I made it up. But in the middle of saying that, you know what? She was like, that's what I thought. And it hit me. She didn't bite because she knew there's no 35-year-old flirting with me. She knew that was a made-up story. Like, so then I felt worse. I'm in bed that night, like, love you, whatever. Gosh, so right. But why? Because you want to feel alive. You want to feel all these things you chase internally inside. The last one, possessions. It's just chasing more stuff. I need bigger and better. I mean, I know I've got the iPhone 12 or 14, whatever it is right now, but man, there's a new one coming. I mean, I like my truck. It's a 2022, but man, I really would like, have you seen the new F-150s? And there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with upgrading your house. But it's like, no, we're chasing these things. You know what the third temptation was? The enemy, it says he took him to a high point of the city, like the highest point, and he literally showed Jesus and he said, you can have all this. Think about this. All the kingdoms, everything in the world, it's yours for the taking. You can have it. Take it. Possessions, right? Here's the thing, though. We learn as we start getting more and more stuff that we don't own stuff anymore. Our stuff owns us. So if life isn't by achieving or getting or buying more, then what is real life? Well, luckily, if you look at the second part of John 10, remember he said the enemy comes to steal peace and kill joy, and he comes to destroy life. Well, this is what it says in the second part of John 10. He says, but I have come, Jesus talking, that you may have life and have it to the full. I've came. So all of you in this room can understand what real life is. And you can have it to the fullest. Now, let's be honest. If most of us in here talk, it's like, I don't think my life's busy. I mean, my schedule's full, but is your life full? And Jesus says, no. You really, as you follow me and you learn my unforced rhythms of grace, listen to me. You'll learn what it means to really live. You'll learn that you can have peace and joy and a full life. He promises us that. Not just eternity later, eternity now. That's what he says. So how does this work as we follow Jesus? This has always fascinated me. Once you start reading the Bible and see this, you'll see Jesus constantly living in this rhythm. But I just want to talk real quick. He had this up pattern where he understood he was loved by God fully. So he didn't have to perform. He also had this in where he was loving people more and more every day. He didn't use people to get what he needed. He just simply saw them for what it was. And then also loving more people, this outward where he was like, no, guys, we're not going to have a little clique. Even in the church, there's no such thing as, well, it's just our little clique and it's about us. And if you don't agree with us or vote like us or have the same lifestyle as us, then you're, no. He's like, they're all welcomed in. Everybody. That's the up and out. So I just want to go through those real quick, and then promise I'll get you out of here. So what's that mean? I'm going to help you out. This is since we talked about the negative side, the broken triangle. What's real life? And I want to challenge you guys to really think about your life and see if you believe this. Do you believe this is true? Being loved more by God. Up. Look at the very first part of 17, verse 1. He says, Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son, that your Son may glorify you. Outside, we have 6 core values, and the first one right over here says, we are family. You know why we say that? Because I believe maybe the greatest lie the enemy's ever told the church modern day is we want God to think that it's based on our performance. Well, God, I didn't have a good week, so I really won't pray, and I know you're mad at me, and it's like, you're my kid. You know, I love going to people's homes and looking on their fridge, and they got all these pictures of their kids when they're babies and grade school and pictures and achievements and report cards. And you know what? That's how God really feels about you. Matter of fact, Jesus said, you guys know you have decent, some of you, I'm sorry, had terrible parents. You had terrible dads. So you're like, God is a dad, you don't like that. But for some of us here, we had decent dads, maybe above decent. And he's like, you have no clue how great the Father is. He's a million light years better than any dad you could ever imagine. What's a dad still do? Look on the fridge, look at your boy, look at your son, you smile. He's like, this is how Jesus was loved by God. And here's the beauty of this, performance. If I really get that God approves of me, I don't have to seek you guys to approve of me. And I don't have to prove anything to you. If God approves of me, I don't have to prove myself to any one of you. And you know what? I get to live freer because I'm not just chasing the performance trap. Now, I'm going to let you guys in on a little behind the doors closed scene just for a second. And I really didn't ask for permission from Alicia and Aaron. But I want you guys to hear this, because you probably all the week, like, what do they do? Just sit around and watch YouTube videos and whatever. Like, you probably wonder, right? But I want to say this about them, just so you know. It's from bottom of my heart, and it impresses me. I can't tell you how many times, more than I can count with two hands, in the last 3 or 4 years, that I've sat in a meeting with just those two. And I've said, okay, we're talking about the future plans. You know, we did this remodeling here. We've got a building coming up. We've got a lot of stuff happening. And I sit down with them, and I always ask, what do you think? Give me the pros. Give me the cons. Now, can I tell you guys why I do that, if I'm being brutally honest? I talk about, hey, maybe we can bring this person on part-time. Hey, we can do this, because they're like the full-timers. Hey, we do this. This is whatever. And in my mind, I never say it because I don't want to guilt them. I don't want to turn it into like, well, I mean, we could add a part-timer, but then that means you guys might be sitting another 5 years and not get a raise. I never say that because they'll be like, oh, we know what we're supposed to do. Never say a word. I'm telling you, every time I bring something out, they literally, both of them, they don't even blink. They're like, what makes it better? What's better for this place? They will willfully choose away from what would benefit them. And now some of you in here, you're like, well, you're a church, so you should do that. Fair enough. But let me ask you this. If someone offers you more money, do you take it? Someone offers you, right? I'm just saying it's life. We still have to feed our kids and do this. I kid you not. They never bat an eye. Hey, you know, we could take a part-timer, or we could look at, no matter what I'm discussing, if it involves something that would actually be detrimental to them personally, you know what they say? Do it. If it's better here, do it. That's impressive. It is. It's why I feel like I always need to have their back, because people don't see that side of it. And it's impressive. But I look back to that because you understand, which leads into the second part, loving people more, the inside. Look at 6. He said, I've revealed you to those whom you gave me. Now, this is important. Jesus is praying to the Father. This whole chapter 17 is a prayer. And he's praying to his Father, and he's like, I want to glorify you. You know, as you glorify me, I know you love me as your son. That's taken care of. But then he says, these people you gave me. Now, this is interesting for a second. Think of this. Jesus, and this is our second point out there. If you look outside, it says, we are servants. Now, what do I mean by that? Because if you're not careful and you're all about your own happiness, what you'll do is you'll use people for your benefit. Jesus never did that. He never used anybody. He served them and he loved them. Right? Why? Because he understood the real way to life is being a servant, to serve others. But notice this, he said, Father, I thank you for the people you gave me. Now, can I talk to all the couples in here for just a second? Okay, dating, married, doesn't matter. Parents, what if we really woke up and thought, God, my wife, my husband, you gave them to me. Like, I need to stay in this mode. My kids, they're a gift from you. Well, I kind of wish they, no, it doesn't matter. They're a gift from you. My friends, my coworkers, God, these are all people you've given me in my life as a gift. And that's the beauty of this. Jesus never used people. He loved and he served them. Now, before we get to the last one, I just want to share with you guys. So about the same time as the pumpkin pie episode, okay? By that same time, it was November. I'm up here, and when I'm done a lot, I'll stand here or get my stuff together, and people come up and say hi, or hey, can you pray for me? All different stuff. But they always have the same look, okay? They're either, I can tell, kind of nervous, and then I know it's probably something bad or something they're struggling with. So, like, hey, can you pray? This is bad. They look very, like, just freaking out, like they're scared to death or something's been horrific, so I can get that. But sometimes they're just real smiley, and I like that because I think they're going, like, maybe, like, say good job today and high-five me. So that's all pretty good. But last November, about that time, somewhere around there, this guy, who's in here, who's a friend of my brother's, he walks up to me. Larry walks up to me, and I couldn't get a read. He's kind of a tough-looking guy. So he's walking up, but it wasn't a smile, wasn't nervous, wasn't bad. And in my mind, I go quick, to the carpenter mode. I'm like, is he going to punch me? Right? Because I get people, sometimes it's like this, like, hey, they're all nervous. Sometimes you get them in, they're just like loud and like, hey. But this was more like it was a confident walk. And I was like, this is going down. And all of you pretty much vacated. It's like 8 of us. I'm like, I'm going to have to fight a guy, and I'm probably not going to win. Right? And he doesn't say a word. He literally just reaches out his hand, shake my hand. And as he shakes my hand, I feel something. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't nod. He walks away. And I look in my hand, and there's a gift card to Texas Roadhouse. And I looked up, and the angels were singing, right? So amazing. I'm not kidding you guys. And you think I was happy on Sunday? You know how happy I was on Monday? And he wrote the amount in a marker. I love that, right? So it's not like, oh, you gave me $5. Like, it was some change. So I go with my wife, and I'm acting like a king. Get whatever you want, Jonda, up to $50, right? But it was so good. Now here's why I'm telling you guys that, because as we look at loving more people, see, look what he says. Jesus says, as we love more people, he says, for I gave them the words you gave me, and they accepted them. Accepted what? That we're all on mission. That you first need to understand you are fully and forgiven, loved by God, forgiven. You're his child. He loves you more than you could ever imagine. 2, you need to understand the people in your life are not to be used just for your own personal gain, but they're there that you can serve and love and show love. But then he said, there's people on the outside. There's people on the outside who their lives are dark. The struggle is real. And for them, they're like, who can show me God's love? That's you guys. And the reason I told that story is because some of you are like, oh, I know that's what you guys do, but I can't. It was the simplest thing, but I would argue maybe the most profound thing. It meant something to me. It did. I think about it right now. It meant something. Why? The simple step as we live up, realizing we're loved by God more than we could ever imagine. Realizing that God's given us gifts of people close to us, friends, family, coworkers, that we're called to love and serve. And then finally, there's people outside of our circles we don't know us, but our job daily, we're on mission to love and serve those people. And here's what you got to understand. Now, if you're a type A like me, I get it, because I would do, if I was in your seat right now, type A, my personality listens and say, oh, okay, I'd be a smart aleck. Okay, so we just don't do anything. God loves me. I'm going to love people and look for people to love. Okay, so I don't have to perform anymore. I'm not even show up for work tomorrow. Okay, they'll fire you. They will, right? Like, that's not how it works. Here's what I'm telling you. Performance, pleasure, possessions, they're not bad. But they make terrible gods, and they make terrible goals. But when you get what Jesus got, then you can look at all those things as simply gifts, and you enjoy them. We went to the beach last week, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, it was a gift, and it was awesome. But it's not my life goal. My wife was with me. We spent the whole weekend together. I loved it. It's a gift. She's a gift. See, when you get that, then you get to truly live. So what I'm going to do this morning, I think are my buckets back there? Okay, are they? Yeah, my son is not following instructions. Yeah, it wasn't his job. He just looks confused. Okay, I've got some volunteers. We're going to do something completely different this morning, okay? I've got some volunteers, if you would. Go ahead and make your way up. Volunteers, my peeps, okay? They're going to take the sections. Thank you. Tatum, if you'll hand those to these lovely people, okay? Now, here's what's going to happen. Before they do anything, I'm going to go super fast. I'm just going to ask you guys to do something here, okay? I want each one of you, I'm going to have you raise your hand. Now listen, don't freak out. You don't have to stand up. You don't have to do anything. I want each one of you, like the head of your household or the person in your household that pays the bills. So we're talking per household, okay? So if I'm sitting here, it's my wife and my 2 kids. We're all one household. I'm going to raise my hand for me. Or my wife will, because she's in charge of things. She'll raise her hand. It's fine. But get what I'm saying? It's not 4 of us. Here's what I want you to do, though, just real quick. You don't have to stand up. No one else is looking at you. We're all going to do that. If one person for the household, raise your hand. Raise your hand for a second. Raise it. Raise it. Hold it up. Hold it up. Hold it up. Just a second. Hold it up. One. Just one. Okay, listen. You are the envelope grabber. Got it? You're the envelope grabber. Now, if you guys would, they're going to be passing by. Okay? We're doing like an offering. It's just going to be a little different. Don't open it. Don't look at it. Just chill for a second, okay? Take your thing. Move on. And as they're doing that, some of you are like, look at me like it's awkward. I want to tell you something about one of our values, our core values, okay? And as they're moving around, don't worry, they'll get to you. You don't have to. But almost 20 years ago when we started C3, I was sitting in a room with 2 older guys, and they said, why would you start a church? There's a million churches. Why do you guys even want to do that? And a guy looked at me, and this is pretty good. He said, really? Why do you want to do that? And he said, what would it look like? He's asking me different questions. But off the whim, and I really didn't think about it then, but it's always stood out in my mind, is I said, when it's all said and done, this guy, I won't say the guy's name, older gentleman, I said, I hope we are a church that is great for this area. Let me say that because you hear it. Not a great church in the tri-state, not a bigger church in the tri-state. I really honestly don't care about any of those. I don't. But I said, I want to be a place, and this has always been kind of my battle cry, and it's one of our core values. If we shut down tomorrow, something terrible happens, and we shut down, here's what I want to say. I want not you guys, because you're like, well, where do we go now? We don't have any place to go. I want the neighborhoods to say, what do we do? They help us so much. They do so much for the community, literally. And you know why we want to be for the tri-state? Because I want those people to know that God is for them. Jesus is for them. Now, to make this real to you guys, I want you to really feel this, okay? We have Kids Club, amazing volunteers, Alicia, Cassie, Mel, so many amazing people. They took them to the movies, and this isn't all the kids, but this group in this picture, they took to the movies to see Dog Man. It's not a good movie, by the way, okay? I was there. They gave them each their own trays with popcorn, food. It was a great day. I start talking to the kids, and what I found out was majority of these kids never been to a movie. Not once. Now, all of us can be like, well, my kid's never been to a movie. Fair enough. But we have taken them on trips and places. We brought them Happy Meals one time in here. They never had one. I'm thinking about my kids. My kids are like, oh, McDonald's again, Dad. Like, it's a different world. But here's what I want to share with you. And Emmett will enjoy this. Our guy, Seabass, his name's Sebastian. They took the kids club to GattiLand. They've never been. Like, can you imagine never been to GattiLand and you walk in and it's like, how much pizza you want? As much as you want. What's all that noise in the back? It's a bunch of games. And we're giving you all these tokens. Could you imagine, like, losing your mind? Well, he is a kindergartner. And I want you to see, this is Seabass's take on what, this is probably a good picture of heaven one day, okay? This is what GattiLand is like.
This is like paradise. Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yes.
Do you love it?
Yeah.
Is it the best day ever?
Now, this is like paradise. Now, why am I showing that? As we get ready to close, here's what I want you to understand, okay? I want you this week, to be good news, to bless somebody. These kids, and what I love the most about Kids Club is I'm like, if nothing else, they may have a good time, I hope they do, but they know there's a group of adults who love them, who care about them, and that's the job we get to do. So here's what it is. We decided with our leadership team and our finance team, we said, let's take all the amount we bring in each week. So we took 1 week of our offering. We literally pulled it out, and I said, this week I want to give it away. Okay? It's a reverse offering. And you've got 3 simple rules today with your envelope. Okay? This is what you do. Literally this week sometime, give it. Just give it. Just pull it. Maybe you pay for somebody's gas. Maybe you do something for a coworker. Maybe you buy donuts that morning. I don't care. Just be a blessing to somebody. But some of you in here, you've got some cheddar, right? So here's what you do. You take it and be like, I don't know, what am I going to do with $60 or $40 or $80 or whatever? Double it, triple it. Make a bigger difference. And here's what I'm going to say to you guys, and I got permission for this. Some of you in here, though, maybe things have been tough for you. Maybe you've been walking today, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fill up my gas tank on the way home. Listen to me. Keep it. Keep it. But I got to give you this rule as we leave today, and we're going to pray. Okay? You can give it. You can match it. You can keep it. But we don't want it. Okay? Don't hand it back. Be a bright light to somebody this week. And I promise you, you'll find it's truly, like Jesus taught us, the way to live. So let's pray. Father, I thank you so much for this church. I thank you for a board, directors, leadership here, people who constantly, when we make decisions, it is truly, how can we be a brighter light to this community? How can we help people? How can we make a difference? God, I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful for the heart and the generosity of all the people in this room. And God, I have a special prayer today. As we get ready to walk out these doors, God, I pray, whether it's someone just needed this, maybe they're just in a tough spot, maybe things just haven't been, maybe they just wanted to take their kids to a restaurant one time, whatever, God, then do it. We want to bless you. For a lot of us, maybe though, it's like, you know what, God, help me. This is our prayer today. Help me to see somebody, some group that I can do something positive for this week, so I can be a positive spark in their life. I don't have to be churchy. I don't have to do any of that. Just love people right where they're at. So God, help us to do that this morning. I pray for the people who we're going to bless. You just open their hearts and help them to hopefully see God, maybe for some of them in ways they never imagined. But more than anything, God, I pray that they would see in this community a God who is for them. We know you're for us. That they would see your Son, Jesus, who's for us. And God, since you are for them, then we have to be for them. I pray they would see that in our actions this week. God, I thank you so much for, as we said, the incredible generosity you gave to us as you gave the most valuable thing, your Son, so we could have life. God, use our time, our talents, our abilities, these small gifts this week to bless somebody. We ask these things in your name, and amen. Guys, hope you have an amazing week. Love to see you back for week 2 next week.